St. John Paul II wrote many documents, delivered thousands of homilies and addresses, published books, plays, poems. In his programmatic first encyclical, Redemptor Hominis, he emphasised the centrality of faith in Jesus Christ before all else, as the key to the human person and human history, as the answer to our search for salvation and purpose. This age, he said, demands of Christians a faith that is particularly aware, profound, and responsible. He walked his talk, over 1.1 million kilometres of pastoral journeys, reaching out to every corner of the globe, drawing the largest crowds in history and meeting more people than anyone. His first such visit, only weeks after his election, was to Mexico. As with his first encyclical, his homily in Mexico City Cathedral focused on faith. He highlighted 4 dimensions of faith that he thought the Virgin Mary particularly demonstrated: seeking, finding, committing, and enduring. Some would be surprised that this great apostle thought questioning comes before all else. Yet Mary asked her questions before accepting the mystery of the Incarnation and assenting to her mission. So too in our Gospel today, we see questions flying between John Paul's predecessor, St. Peter, and the Christ, of whom both were vicars. Jesus encouraged questions, and so people brought them to him. What is truth? Are you the King of the Jews, the Messiah, the Son of God? Should we obey the Jewish law, and what is most important in it? Is it lawful to cure on the Sabbath, to divorce, to pay taxes? How are we to pray? Who is our neighbour? Should we use the sword? How is it you know me? Who is it will betray you? How will we know that the end is near? What will heaven be like? Will only a few be saved? What must I do to inherit that kingdom? Who will be greatest there? Jesus had his answers. Indeed, he was the answer. But he also had his questions. What is your name? Who touched me? Who are you looking for? How long has this one been suffering? Do you think those who suffer are worse sinners? What can I do for you? Can you see now? Were not 10 made clean? Can't we feed them? How many loaves have we? What are you arguing about? What were you talking about on the road? Who do you say I am? Will you follow me? Or will you leave me also? Jesus asks these questions of us, and we of him. In the dialogue of faith, ours is no blind faith. We are not puppets, apes, or fools. We've been gifted with intellect and freedom to ask our questions. We rightly want to understand God's plan, not just assent to it, however incomplete our comprehension. If the first stage of faith is the search, the second is the finding. As John Paul noted, reception is the critical moment of faithfulness, when a person accepts the mystery, gives it a place in his heart, opens up to being inhabited by something, by someone greater than his own heart. So the Virgin responds, "Fiat, let it be done to me." But where Mary's reception is perfect, Peter's is not. Though he acknowledges the mind-blowing reality that his friend and teacher, Jesus, is the Son of God, he doesn't want a divine plan different to his own. He proclaims Jesus Messiah, but demands he be his kind of Messiah, that he think as men think and act as Peter would. Peter is every one of us saying, "Thy will be done. Only, Lord, please line your will up with mine." "Get behind me," Jesus responds to us. "Get back in line. If you want to be my follower, renounce your willfulness and actually follow. Think as I think. Walk God's way, not your own." Next comes committing. Here the challenge is to live in accordance with what one believes, the Pope said, to adapt one's own life to the object of one's obedience, to be consistent even when it is challenging. As St. Thomas Aquinas reminded us, the truth of faith includes not only inner belief, but outward profession. Not only declaration of faith, but actions that demonstrate that faith. "Get behind me," Jesus says to Peter, "or else you'll be a satana, an obstacle, a voice for the enemy." Instead of saying, "I will follow," and then resisting whenever it's challenging, be consistent. James makes a similar point in our epistle. Faith that does not pay out in good action is mere theory, fraud, moribund. It's not that good works are more important than faith, as the Reformers protested that Catholics thought, nor that deeds are irrelevant and faith all that matters, as Catholics accuse Protestants of thinking. No, James's point is that faith and works are like body and soul. Works concretize or express faith. Faith inspires and shapes deeds. Works conform us to Christ, not just notionally, but bodily. Faith assures that this is not mere performance, but telling the story of the soul. The proof of the pudding is in the eating, not the recipe. So get with the program, Peter. Finally, John Paul suggested faith also means constancy, enduring through thick and thin. We can all be faithful for a time when things are going well and the consolations come. But what about when there are trials, the pandemic, lockdowns, isolation? How will you be, Pete, when instead of skipping atop the water of life, you find yourself sinking beneath the waves? When instead of miraculous hauls of fish, it's empty nets, apparently fruitless preaching? You loved being with me when you saw my transfigured glory. But how will it be when you see my terrified agony? When I'm on trial and people ask if you know me, will you confess me as friend and master, Messiah and Son, as you just did? Or will you deny me 3 times? How will you be when the sheep are scattered and you are taken where you'd rather not go? The fact is, we can all be fair weather friends to Jesus. It's easy when it's easy. But faith is tested in the crucible of tedium, of opposition, of suffering. Faith means seeking and questioning, finding and receiving, living consistently, enduring constantly. As we saw last week, faith takes courage and needs hope. Faith, then, is not just something we get, choose, have. It is also something we are, live, do. So dare to dream and to do. Take up your faith, not just notionally, but intentionally. Not just as a club member, but an active player, cross and all. Anyone who holds on to their will, comfort, life, will lose it. But whoever gives them all up for my sake, my gospel, will save it for eternity.